Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Glad to have you here today. And as usual, I'm going to ask you if you would to like, share, and or comment on the post, and then join me back in God's Word in Acts chapter 16, verse 34. And great little verse here that really lays out some, I think, some important guidelines, not really guidelines, but models, examples of what salvation should look like in a person's life. And after the jailer again realized that Paul was still there, that he hadn't escaped, he runs in, asks to be saved. He cleans their wounds and then introduces them to his family. And they are saved. And then verse 34 says, Then he brought them up into his house and set food before them. And he rejoiced along with his entire household that he had believed in God. And again, at first glance, you may think, well, there's not a whole lot to that verse, but I really believe there is. There's at least three things there that happen in this jailer's life because of meeting Christ. One of them is that he begins to help, aid, assist, minister to other believers. We've already seen in the previous verse that he tended to their wounds, that he helped take care of the wounds that they had. And now we see him bring them to his home and feed them, or I may be jumping ahead of myself. I don't know that he brought them in necessarily how this all took place, but he brought them home. He set food in front of them, fed them, and took care of their needs. And so the first result we see of this is that the first thing that happens, I believe, in a person's life when they become, maybe not the first thing, but one of the things that happens in a believer's life when they come to know Christ is we can't just sit by and ignore the needs of other people, especially other believers. And so he steps in and helps them. Then the next thing we read, it says, and he rejoiced along with his entire household. Um, Honestly, a depressed, moping, sad believer is kind of an oxymoron. And I'm not saying we all don't have bad days and rough stretches and things, but some folks who claim to know Christ walk around like they've been sucking on a lemon all day. We ought to have the joy of the Lord in our heart. You know that old song, "The Joy of Jesus Down in My Heart." Where? Down in my heart. And as somebody said, if the joy of Jesus is down in our heart, it ought to come up and show on our face. This man, he is rejoicing in what has happened. And again, it doesn't mean we don't have difficulty, but again, there should be rejoicing and joy. Joy is something that comes from the inside. It's not something that is a result of the things that go on around us. It's a result of what's happened in us. Happiness is something that is from the outside. Joy comes from the inside. And then we have already talked about this some. But we see again that his entire household had believed in God. A believer is going to, one of his priorities, her priorities, is going to be sharing the gospel, leading. If it's anybody, their desire is going to be to see their own family come to know Christ. They're going to be a leader in that, and especially, and some of you, I know we live in a politically correct world, but I'm going to say it. Especially if you are the father, the husband, to be the spiritual leader. I think that's biblical. That we're going to have a desire we're going to make effort to see our entire family, everybody we can influence, come to know Jesus Christ. And so those are just three that this verse happens to lay out for us. Three things that I believe should be present in every believer's life. I don't think there's an exception here. I think this is true for every believer. A care for others, a compassion, empathy on the needs of others, joy, and a desire and an effort to see the remainder of their family come to know Christ as well. And so this morning I'd challenge you just to simply look at those three and ask yourself, are these three things evident in my life? And if not, what do I need to do to change that? How do I work on that? Lord, help me. That would be our prayer, that these three things would be evident in our life. Have a good day. We'll see you here tomorrow morning.